Hey everyone, welcome to a new episode of Get Good at OpenRCT2. In this episode, I will show you how to make this medium-sized Ferris wheel that I made in the park that I made together with Ulvenwood for the B&M Wing Coaster contest. Okay, first off, I'll start by making the track for the vehicles to ride on. So, doesn't really matter what kind of track you use. I'll just go with B&M Twisted track. Okay, first off, we'll have to decide where we want our wheel to be. I'll just put it at this height, and this will also be the height of the station. So, it's important to start with a straight piece here at the bottom. That's because I like to put a piece of dinghy slide in the middle to act as the center hub of the wheel. And if we don't put this straight piece here, then it will be difficult to put that part in the middle. And it's far more easy with when your Ferris wheel is an uneven amount of track pieces. Okay, I will just build the track like this. And here I built upwards. I rotated the track 180 degrees like you saw there. And here I'll make a little vertical merge. So for that I'll disable clearance checks like that. Okay, and now that that's done, we can simply build like this again. And here we'll do the opposite. Here we'll build downwards again. And here we'll start from this part, and here we'll build upwards again, and here we'll want a little merge again. Now, for the vehicles to actually be able to follow this circle, the merge has to be done correctly. So that means the part of the track where we want the trains to go to has to be on lower in the order. So I'll just hold Control and select this vertical track piece where we want the train to go to, and you can see there's two track pieces here at the same height. And well, I selected this track piece where we want the vehicles to go to, so we'll move it to the bottom here, or at least lower than the other one. And we'll do the same on this side. The vehicles will go in this direction, so we'll want them to go to this track piece over here. So I hold Control, select this track piece, and it has to be below the other one. If a train follows this track now, it should go in the right direction. I'll rename this one Ferris wheel track, just so we keep the distinction between the rides. Now, normally I built the rest of a lot of the rest of the ride underground. But just to show you everything that we're building here, I will now just lower the ground here. That will make it easier for you guys to see what we are doing here. Okay, then for the rest of the ride, I will use the steel Wild Mouse coaster. Now, first off, we'll want our station to be here. Now, we're going to have to put a lot of vehicles on the train in order to make it actually look like a Ferris wheel. So behind the station here, I will just make some track which allows us to spawn the train. Now, this steel Wild Mouse track, it will later be invisible. So it doesn't really matter where you build it. Probably a good idea to make it a little bit underground, just so it is not in the way. So, I will just let the track go back and forth here a few times. I'm also making sure there's a chain lift on the track. That's just to make it easier for the vehicles to go around. The only reason for this track is so we are able to spawn all the vehicles without all them bunching up at the end. That's something you really don't want to happen. Okay, so here's the station of the ride, and yeah, from the station of the ride we'll also build some tracks underground. So I'll just go down here, and here at the bottom I'll make a split in the track. So here the track can go in one of two directions. So here it can go to the right, or we can also let it go to the left here. And over here I'll make another split in the track, like that. Okay, what I'm going to build here is a little infinite brake loop. Basically what that does is it makes sure that one of the trains of this ride is always on the brakes, and that will just make sure that the speed of the ride is mostly constant throughout this circle. If you don't have this, sometimes you can see a Ferris wheel that will slow down or speed up in some parts, and the brakes just makes it more consistent. So when you put two of the same track pieces on the same tile, they will actually merge even when they are rotated with respect to each other. So I built two brake pieces here. I will copy this brake piece and I'll paste it here. And the bottom one I will rotate 3 times, and then we can continue building from it. And then here I'll also copy and paste this one, rotate it 3 times, and oops, I have to set the brake speed. And again, this track piece, I'm gonna copy and paste it, the bottom one, rotate 3 times, set the brake speed, and here I'll make sure that this part of the track that's over here, that goes in this direction, is the one on the bottom, because that's the one we want the train to go to when it's over here. Okay, that seems correct. So what's going to happen now with the vehicle that ends up on this track? It will just continue going in circles here, forever braking the entire train. Okay, for this part of the track, I'm going to use this for the control track. Okay, so the front car of the train, I will split it off and let it go on this track, and that part of the train will actually be controlling the ride duration and stuff like that. So I'll make a new ride here. So this is our 3rd ride, and this will just be a track full of chain lift that just goes back and forth all the time. So I've enabled the cheat to allow chain lifts on all track pieces. So right out here from the station, we'll make a curve with chain lift, and we'll just go back and forth here several times. And the longer we make this, the longer the duration of the Ferris wheel will be before it stops again. Okay, this ride won't need an entrance or an exit. This part of the ride will need an entrance and exit, but the control track won't need it. We will keep the control track closed. I will quickly name it. Okay, and we made a merge here. I'll just have to make sure that whenever the vehicle is on this track, it goes to the wooden wild mouse track. If we don't do that, it might fall off here. That would be bad. Okay, the steel wild mouse now on the bottom. I'll change that. So now the wooden wild mouse track is on the bottom. So when a train passes here, it should go to the wooden wild mouse track. Okay, so what I'm going to do for this ride is I'll split off the front vehicle, let it go on the control track. I'll split off the second vehicle, let it go on the infinite brake track. And the rest of the vehicles will be on this circle over here. Now, in order to make that happen, we will still need to actually move those vehicles to this wheel over here, to this track. So in order to do that, I will just build this track here. And here we'll have to merge the track somehow. I believe if we do it like this, so we go down here, and then here we can actually merge them. Now the way you merge these tracks is when you use exactly the same track piece in the same tile, in the same location, and that's what I did here. Here we have a gradient from steep to less steep, and I used that here to make them go to make the vehicles go to this track. Now again, I will just make sure that the order is correct. So we want the vehicles to go from the Wild Mouse track to the B&M Twisted track. So the B&M Twisted track is here on the bottom. So this merge should also work correctly. Okay, now we don't want wooden Wild Mouse vehicles on it. We'll want rafts, from the river rafts. I'll use the disable vehicle limits cheat here. We'll have one car, and then we'll have, one car, and we'll have, I believe we can have 22 cars on this particular length of track. We'll have 2 vehicles underground here, so that means I'll have to use 24 cars for this ride. This is something I tested before. I believe this was the right number. Okay, I think it's now time to test the ride. I will set it to powered launch without passing station. It's just so I can use this ride without it being a continuous circuit. Now I'll do one last check here at these parts of the track where we are going to split them. I want the front car to go into this track and the second one to go into this track. So I'll just make sure that the track piece that goes to the right is on the bottom here. Okay, that's now correct. And the first car should go on the straight part of the track. So the straight piece of track should be on the bottom here. Okay, it's now time to test our ride. I will quickly name it Ferris wheel. Okay, I will give it a quick test, and I'll also do the splitting here. And of course we're going to have to build an entrance and an exit for this ride. No, it doesn't really seem to allow me to build an entrance and an exit. Oh, I'm actually I actually named the wrong ride. My bad. So this is Ferris wheel control track. Name already used, yeah. So this ride here on top is our actual Ferris wheel ride. Name already exists. Okay. I will quickly rename all our rides. Okay, the ride on the bottom is now named Ferris wheel control track. This part of the ride is our actual Ferris wheel ride, and this is just the track for the vehicles to go around on. Okay, I will now give this ride a test. After I set these vehicles to rafts, we'll have one train and we'll have 24 cars per train. Okay, I will now give this ride a test now that I have the correct one. And we're going to have to build the entrance and exit. Okay, and now we can give it a test. Okay, I paused the game in this particular moment. So the first two vehicles have now passed this splitting section. You can see the front car is already going on the straight part here, so it will keep following that. The second car is not there yet, but it is already following the track to the right. So what I can do now is change the order. So the next one that goes here will actually go to the braking section, and I will also change the order here, since they're already following the right track. So the third vehicle and the rest, they should go onto this track. Okay, that may have gone a little bit fast, but you can see the front vehicle is now over here, the second vehicle is now over here, and all the other ones are following this track over here. Okay, you can see this second vehicle continuously on the brakes. This vehicle will be on a chain lift. It will control the speed of the track, and the braking should keep the speed constant. And the rest of the vehicles, they're all just going along, and they will be going on this track. And if I did my merges correctly, they will not fall off. Okay, it looks like the ride also calculates stats, so that's good. If you find out that the ride doesn't calculate stat, that can happen if it ends up in an infinite loop. Then what you should do is just when you're done with all the splits, etc., just take this track piece here, for example, just move it up a little bit so there's a gap in the track, and then just close the ride once, then put it back in test mode, and then your ride should recalculate stats at some point. If the stat calculation function ends up in an infinite loop, it may stop the stat calculation in all of your park. So that might not be what you want. Okay, well, yeah, this is really all there is to the ride. You could just make your entrance and exit here. Just hook up the queue to it, and your ride should function. It will accept guests in this state. Now, for this part of the ride, it doesn't really look nice, and the stats are also horrible. So what you should probably do is change it to a lift, and what that does is, when it becomes a transport ride. So guests will ride it if it's free, regardless of its stats. So that's probably a good thing to do here. Now, something nice that you can do with this particular design of Ferris wheel is you can put a piece of dinghy track here in the middle. I'll try to put it in the middle here. Okay, I will just make this actual track invisible as well. I will just use the crooked house. And then we can make some nice spokes here. I like to use the junior coaster track, but you can use other tracks as well. Now, there's this handy allow building track at invalid height cheat. So I will use that, and that will allow us to build the track in the middle of the dinghy slide track. So then with this you can make some nice spokes. We'll probably actually want to use the classic junior coaster, because then we can also do steep parts. Okay, it looks like I built my spokes a little bit too low. I will see if I can make them all a little bit higher without it being too much work. Okay, these are the spokes you can make with the junior coaster rack, and then I also like to make a vertical one, and for that it's probably best to use the limb lunged coaster rack. Okay, I will move this part underground again. And let's give these tracks a nice color. We'll hide those supports later. Now I'll color them yellow. Actually, I think we can already hide these supports. I just hide them by putting all these track pieces below surface. Okay, now for this part I will build a dinghy slide here. Okay, I tried to put it in the middle. And then here, for example, this is just an idea you could use. There's no need to copy this exactly, this is just how I like to do it. Okay, and then you could, for example, make a motor here, something like this. And you'd probably want some supports for the Ferris wheel as well. Something I like to use for that is inverted impulse coaster track. But yeah, once again, this is not the only way. You should do it however you like to do it. Something like this. I think that will look nice. And for example, if we make this, well, this probably not really sure how nice this is, but yeah, you should just find a way to decorate it that you like. Now I will quickly copy and paste these supports. Oops. That's quite a spectacular end to this video. Okay, I fixed it again. So when you're building one of these, always make sure you're working on the correct ride, and that you don't accidentally rotate the wrong pieces with the tile inspector. Now this is quite a colorful ride that I made here. Now these Ferris wheel cars, they might be a little bit finicky to recolor, especially since the bottom part is always very dark. But you can play around with these colors a little bit. I think these are pretty cool colors for the Ferris wheel. Okay, well yeah, this is how you make a medium-sized custom Ferris wheel. There's more ways to do it, also even more compact ways. But this is this is a way how I like to do it. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope it's useful for you, and I hope to see you again in the next one. See you later.